to Similarly Different. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Similarly Different. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is our season 3 closer. Now, by the time that you're watching this, the year is about to end. The holiday season is full intact, and you're probably thinking and reprocessing this entire year. Now, I'll start. This year was a shit show. Okay, if you lived in Los Angeles, it started with the fires. We've had the whole ICE immigration situation. You know, we've had the president doing non-president things. We've had the Epstein files that won't come out. We've had so many things happen, left, right. But a lot of beautiful things also have happened in my life, in my career, with my friends that got engaged, friends that got married, babies that were born. And you're probably trying to figure out what you're going to do in 2026. I know I am. And if you haven't already, make sure to go back and listen to the end of year episode in 2025, going into 2025, where I talk about vision boards, how I create my vision board, and how do I really prep for the next year. But I didn't want to just repeat and do that episode again, because I could always just send you to that if you're a new viewer or listener. I wanted to tell you guys about something that I have been talking to my team, to my close friends about, and about all the emotions that I have processed this year. Because if you know me, it's me and my emotions. It's something that I try to regulate. It's something that I try to process, be honest with myself. And I also encourage my friends to talk them through, to feel them through. So I'm doing the same with you guys. I wrote a few little things with Courtney about me and my emotions. And this episode actually came up from a conversation when I was having a crash out. And I wasn't even being honest with her about the crash out that I was experiencing. But just with the little bit of that I was sharing, she knew I was most likely going through something. I want to talk about all the emotions that I can identify from this year. I went through fear, sadness, grief, anger. I also, in the same tone, I experienced a lot of joy. I experienced peacefulness, calm moments, different seasons where I was really anxious and really stressed, and also other moments that I thought were so beautiful that I felt peace in different parts of my life that I hadn't felt in a really long time. With that also comes, you know, unhappy moments that I experienced. But I think when I look back at everything that I encompassed this year, everything taught me a lot about myself, about where I'm going, and how to process it better. Now, we often try to label our emotions as good or bad, and then also in another layer, try to define it on if our life is going good, if we're doing a good job, if you know, we're a good person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think a lot of the times when I'm feeling a negative emotion, let's say, I'm like, oh, you know, life is going horrible, all these things. But if I'm honest, obviously, when ICE is happening, when the fires are happening, when people are getting ripped out of their homes, that is a negative emotion that makes sadness and despair come, and you feel hopelessness. You feel shame even at times that you live in a place that there's only so much you can do to help. You are fearful for your family members or friends or neighbors and what they're experiencing, and how you never know what's going to come next at any given moment. And then when it comes to a more inner circle, if something doesn't work out in your job, in your school, with a friend, with a person that you saw as a future partner, you instantly, at least for myself, start trying to figure out why it didn't go good. And you start kind of labeling it bad. It must be because I didn't do this. It must be because I didn't do that. It must be because I'm not good enough. It must be because I didn't work hard enough. It must be because I wasn't qualified enough, whether it be a job, whatever it is, a goal that you had or thing that you were really putting your effort and working hard to. And I think that in that same token, when I was processing certain emotions like that throughout time, I started shifting the way I saw things. And I posted online one point in my stories, is actually in my highlights under notes, where I'm starting to shift the narrative of good and bad, but rather experience and timeline. And what I mean by that is sometimes you get let go of a job and you're like, that was an asshole move from your boss, or that was incorrect, that was discrimination, or wow, I never saw that coming, I was working so hard, I didn't have a plan B. Or maybe, you know, you didn't get the promotion that you wanted. Maybe it was that a friendship failed and fell out. Maybe it was that somebody that you were dating and putting time and effort to, it didn't work out. And I think a lot of the times we're just like, why? But when you really think about it, we're forever evolving, right? We're forever moving, shaking, we're forever growing. And what if that job ended? Because without that job ending, you wouldn't have gone and taken a risk for where you're now going, whether it's go back to school, whether it was for you to go and truly fix that resume and go towards the dream that you have, whether it's telling people, hey, I need help and I need a job, or I need X, Y, and Z. Maybe it was this partner that you were with that you guys were just roommates at one point because you guys no longer had chemistry, no longer had connection. But it's better comfortable than not. It's better to be in this and have to go and deal with a breakup, to deal with moving, to deal with, you know, the heartache of it didn't work out. Society tells you when a relationship ends, we failed, right? I mean, I went through a marriage and divorce, and I felt that when mine ended. But it forced me to actually step into myself. It forced me to step into the person I wanted to become. Was there heartache? Was there uncomfortability? Was there anger, confusion, uncertainty? Yes. I'm not going to lie to you. In all that, there's a lot of icky, weird feelings. But who I am today, I'm so grateful that I went through all of that because it took me to my journey. So when I wrote on Instagram the other day, I said, I feel like instead of seeing things as good and bad or success or fail, I'm trying to see them more as timelines. My journey in this situation was fulfilled. My journey in this timeline was done. Let's say I'm going to put the example of a partnership. It didn't work out. Maybe there was misalignments. You guys ended up on two different highways, or the fire just burnt out. Maybe there was even hurt from one person doing something without thinking of the other. Whatever it was, I'm just trying to now shift my mindset of saying I was supposed to be in this person's time and in this person's life for only this time. After that, I can remove what I learned from it. If the person hurt me or I chose to hurt the person in a selfish way, that's something that you can do within self to heal, to acknowledge, and actually work on to be better if you were the one that did the fault. But in a relationship, I think there's always faults on both sides. But it's more of, maybe I was supposed to be in this person's life as a messenger for just this time period, and that was it. I was the stepping stone to their next step. Maybe they were mine. Maybe they taught me finally something that I didn't see in myself. When I look back at certain people that I've dated, every relationship that I've dealt in, whether I have gotten into a committed relationship, a situationship, lightly dating, marriage, they all taught me something. And they all taught me something about myself. Whether it was to love myself more, whether it was that I finally loved myself more and I saw the beauty in myself by being this effortless feminine energy for once and being safe and being just blossoming rather than always hiding and protecting and acting like everything's okay. Maybe somebody else in another relationship showed me that I deserve better and I walked away. Another relationship showed me, wow, to really believe in myself because they really believed in me. Whatever it was, just what can you take from the circumstances that were in your life today? And instead of putting a negative or positive emotion to whatever it is that you felt, what lesson can you grab from it? So take a second and really reconcile all your relationships, all the things that you went through this year, where you changed in living, in work, in self, and what can you take from it, and start seeing it that way. At least that's how I've started to look at it, and it's really helped me to be able to not change it into a narrative where it's negative or positive. The connection between emotional awareness and authenticity, I think it's so important because, like I said, in a relationship, a person can have done you wrong. And sure, I'm not going to say it. There's some times where you truly are an angel and you did nothing in the relationship. But even voicing your concerns or not voicing your concerns is a problem. So if you had concerns from the beginning and you never voiced it, the person became used to treating you or acting a certain way because they thought you were okay with it. So have awareness within self and look within on what you can take accountability for your actions, either too much or lack of thereof, because then you know how to move forward in anything else that you want. If at a job, somebody else got a promotion over you, but you've never spoken up, you've never said your boundaries, you've never said what you're hoping to achieve to or what places you want to get to, closed mouth don't get fed, you know? And when it comes to authenticity, if you have ever limited yourself to not be problematic, to not be too much in a relationship or in a friendship, if you require something in a friendship, you need to voice it. If the friend can't offer it to you or can't meet you at that place, then that's fine. It's up to you whether you take it or not. But you not voicing it is what's going to cause resentment, is going to cause anger, and then ultimately things are just going to boil up. So this is a time for you to really look at your entire year. How do you want to move forward? Yes, do the vision boards, do your goals for next year, but how do you want to present yourself moving forward in wherever it is that you put yourself into, whether it's work, family, friends, and relationships. I also want to talk about how it's okay for you to not feel okay at all times and also have moments of gratefulness, happiness in moments when you're going through sadness. I had a week where I was just feeling really burnt out. Had so much on my plate. I had different deadlines that I had to meet. I was going through just like a lot of emotional feelings that week. And I remember telling my girlfriend, it's so weird because I don't feel like I'm masking it, but I have the ability to be able to go to this event and go to this thing that I have, and genuinely I am happy. And then I get in the car and I'm sad again. And while I do believe that this is not good for the long run, there is availability for you to feel joy and still be dealing with sadness. There is a place where two things can coincide at once. I think that if you're going through a breakup or if you had a loss in your life to any sort, whether it's of a pet, of a family member, of a loved one, and you find yourself hanging out with a friend and distracting yourself, a lot of the times we think, oh, I shouldn't be happy right now. Oh my God, why did I giggle? I shouldn't. But just know that two things can coincide at once. You can be grateful for the life that you currently have and be tired and say, I am drained. It doesn't make you ungrateful. We are human. Are we naturally flawed? Yes, but you are human. You are allowed to be tired and also be grateful. So give yourself some grace in that. I think there is also a very big importance about listening to emotions as signals, indicator versus suppressing them. When I started feeling in different times of the year uneasy, not safe, normally I would keep it to myself and I wouldn't say it to anyone. And this year I really decided to speak up and also remove myself from things that made me feel that way. And I think that doing that creates a boundary that a lot of us tend to not make, whether it be because we are people pleasers and we're working through it, whether it be not wanting to offend somebody else, whether it be the fact that, you know, who cares how I feel? And a lot of the times the answer is whether they care or not, you matter, you value. And if you're feeling anxiousness in a relationship, if you're feeling uneasy in a room, if you're no longer, you know, getting joy out of something, don't suppress it, voice it, talk about it in a calm manner, be able to express it to others so that you can actually identify what the feeling is that you're feeling, and you can get used to actually expressing yourself. I think throughout growing up, I was always scared that if I told my family the way I felt at times, that I would be a bother. And it wasn't necessarily because of anything, but more that idea that I felt like I was a bother. And as an adult, that became a thing. And no matter how I felt, I was always there, the shoulder to lean on people. But if they ever talked to me with attitude, they, you know, if they ever offended me, I wouldn't correct them. I would just stay in the friendship. I would just stay in the relationship. And as the years went on, I was like, I mean, people check me when I have an attitude, and I actually applaud it. I'm actually grateful for it, because I know that sometimes I can have an attitude. I know sometimes I'm not perfect, and other times, unfortunately, I have poured what I've been going through on others. And is it wrong? 1000%. And if I care about someone, have I shifted and apologized? Yes. So I think that this year I really took the time to tell people when I was burning out, tell people when I didn't have the capacity. One of my friends, Jamie, who you've seen on episodes here a lot, you know, we were on the way to an event, and I told her, I was like, oh, I have to tell this person that I can't go, and I'm just trying to find a reason to say it in a way where it's accepted. And she said, you just don't have the capacity for it. You don't have to give them a reason, Yanina. And if they don't understand that, then that's their problem. And I was like, yeah, but you know, I want to support them. I want to support people all the time, but I just can't this week. I don't feel good. And she said, you don't have the capacity for it. That's all you have to say. As I get older, I remind myself it's okay to just say, I don't have the capacity for this right now. And the people that love you, and the people that understand you, and the people that have their own shit going on, that's all they're going to need. And if they ask you, what do you mean by that? You don't have to answer. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. And that should be more than enough. And I think that also, if I'm ever told that sentence, I'm not going to ask, because I know that that's your boundary. And whatever you may be going through, sometimes you just don't need to tell other people, but you got to make sure to know how full your cup is. And if it's empty that week, don't do more than you can. I also think there is an importance of being able to name what we feel so we can overcome it. And, you know, in one of the episodes we had on here where Mariah said that she was feeling anger a lot of the times. And there's actually the sheet that I posted on my blog when I had a blog. And I actually learned it from when I went to the trauma center in Vero Beach, Florida. And it was the main feelings and then the sub feelings. So anger, resentment, they all come down to sadness. We perform them in different ways. So anger, it's like erratic, right? Sadness, or even more depressed, for example, it's like crying, or, you know, really dark thoughts. Happy, you can feel joy, bliss, all these things. So it's really figuring out, okay, I feel not valued right now. I feel underappreciated. I feel whatever the emotion is that you may be feeling when you're ending this year. Maybe you feel successful. Maybe you feel joyous. Maybe for once you feel at peace. What caused that emotion to happen, and how, if it's positive, how can you bring it more in your life? And if it's not making you feel good, how can you do things to be able to change so it doesn't continue to grow that feeling in your life? I think that's really important. And if you guys don't know, if you go on Google and you put the feelings chart, it will be able to tell you all the main emotions and then the subcategories so that you can identify what you're actually feeling. It also helps to be able to actually know. So if you guys check it, make sure to let me know. Now, this year, it was a year that I really, really, really learned how to value rest, reflection, and release. And I think that for a person that has been hyper independent, always working, always on so many projects, I had to tell myself, it's not going to run away. What's yours is yours. You work so freaking hard that it's not going to go away. What is for you will always be there, because you're always going to work 100% when you are doing it. And it took me having to even tell my team, like, hey guys, on weekends, my social team, I don't need to always have brand deals due on Monday. Because guess what? While you guys have your 9 to 5 and you guys are off, I'm working and filming and editing for Monday. Sure, there's going to be some campaigns that have really tight timelines, and we just got to do it. But the reality is if you're a freelance, a 1099, a creative, that you make your own schedule, we live in a generation where more than not, we take our work home, because we are independent contractors, we are business owners, we are freelancers, and all these things. And in a time where my mom and, you know, the older generation went to work and went home, that's it. You clock out, you don't take it home. You have family dinners, you have family time, everything. We have this overconsumption brain where we're thinking about creating every second of our life, whether it be because we're a producer behind the camera, whether it be because we're the creator in front of the camera, whether because we're both, or the manager is trying to think, what other brands can I reach out to for my talent? You know, the agency is doing this, what room can I put them in? The designer is, what designs can I come up with? The graphic designer is, how many edits and how many, you know, more clients can I get to be able to do it? We're always on, and that is not healthy. We take our work home, to church, to the grocery store, to the car, to the bathroom. Like, there is never a moment when we are off. And I just can't imagine that 30 years from now, 50 years from now, this generation will be healthy. It's just like, it's beyond me. If I am burning out at different points of the year this many times, it cannot be healthy. And I told myself this year, Yanina, Saturday and Sunday, just like your management and you want them to work good for you, they need off, you need off. Again, there's going to be some weekends, things happen, tight timelines, whatever. But for the most part, we have started implementing that. And little Sarita from my team was like, you know, at first they were kind of like, oh, I don't know, we're going to have to play bad cop. Oh, I don't know, some things you got to work through. But then now they understand it. Mel, my main manager, she had a baby. She needs those days, whether it be for herself or for her sanity. And it just makes us work more efficiently better. I've even, now when I'm hanging out with my friends, I have to tell my inner voice, shut up, shut up. You don't need to be creating right now, because I will be at a restaurant and I'll tell myself, should I be filming this restaurant and making an episode about it? Should I just take like some clips in case I do something in the future? Should I just take like an aesthetic photo for like, so I can have some reel covers on standby? And I'll catch myself and I'll be like, shut up, just shut it off. Be present, because it's not healthy. I've taken rest, I've taken trips, I've gone on trips with my friends to celebrate them, and I've just been more present this year than I ever have, and I want to continue doing that. So I understand, listen, balance, don't know her. I want to get to know her, and I'm doing it little by little, but work on trying to really figure out how you can turn off your brain and rest when it's needed, whether it be because you have a family, whether it be because you really want to give yourself that time to like recharge. But I'm telling you, it's necessary. I've tried implementing it this year and I've been able to, and even in some cases when I've fallen off the bandwagon, I've crashed out. So it's just continuously repeating and creating that habit that I have created in other ways in my life that I know I'm going to eventually master. Last but not least, my desire for you is for you to go and watch the 2025 end of the year episode so you can really do your vision board. I'm going to be working on it. I don't miss it every year. I tell you how to work on it, how to make it there. And it truly has made some of my wildest dreams come to fruition and really align myself just visually, mentally, spiritually to understand what do I want. And then I go in, things align and things happen. Write down also the things you want to accomplish in a journal, in a paper, but more than anything, really sit down and take time to yourself. Look at your relationships, look at the things that you want to achieve, and look at how it went this year. Not for you to be negative to yourself, but for you to really figure out and take accountability of your emotional settings and also how much you thinned yourself out or how much you limited yourself from really going after the things that you wanted to go after. Nobody can want it more than you. And everybody will jump on the wagon once they start seeing things flow. I guarantee you. Listen, even with this podcast, it's shown that really does happen. But at the end of the day, nobody can take the work ethic that you do, and nobody can take the fact that even if you've done wrong in the past emotionally with relationships or whatever, if you're growing and you're evolving, things will just show. Your light will just show. Your aura will just show. Your heaviness will seem lighter. And that's what I hope for 2026. I hope that we all feel lighter, that we all seem lighter, that we all move with grace, that we all move with happiness, that the world doesn't seem so dark as this year it felt. And just know I'm here. I cannot wait to see what I bring you guys in 2026. And I cannot wait to see who you guys evolve to and who you guys see me evolve as. So that's it for this episode. It's the end of season 3. I hope that you go back to the 2025 end of the year and do the vision board. I hope that you stay in tune with my social, YouTube, TikTok, and everything else that's to come. Enjoy your rest. Enjoy your time off. Take time for yourself and allow yourself to grow and evolve, because it's really exciting after a little bit of uncomfortability. So that's it for this season, and until next time, bye.